Here we go. Here we go. Hey, welcome y'all. Welcome back to Jay's Tools. Like I told you before, we're going to be looking at the Power Probe. This little display right here, when I first started business, I met some of the Power Probe people at one of my tool rallies, and they sent it to me. Totally awesome. Comes in a case. It's closable. You know, I've actually loaned it to customers to have them, you know, do some training and kind of figure things out. But the Power Probe, as you know, has been around a really long time. The original one was just entirely red, a red body or a black body, and just had a light, right? And so I'm going to go through the features of the Power Probe. And you know, if you get on YouTube, you can find an ocean of people's experiences with this tool. I'm going to start out with, I mean, since Power Probe has been around for at least 12 years, like I said, it started with a super simple one. This is something that they've offered just relatively recently. It's called the Power Probe 3S. The first one was the, I guess, yeah, the 1, the 2, the 3, and now this is the S. But this is the main reason. It still has the same switch, and it's got these top buttons, but the benefit of this is it's showing you the menu that you can scroll through. So, you know, I mean, these are the same features that, believe it or not, this one has. So these two have 95% of the same features, except in order to find the features on this one, you got to press the belly button right here. So if you hold this down, you'll see little icons float around, and it can be confusing because this is so much better of knowing what you're doing and what you're testing versus this, but they're relatively the same tool. This one is just more ergonomic, of course. It's got the bigger screen, and it's more user friendly. So and what we've got here, we've got a voltmeter, which is a standard setting. You can flip the screen, which is kind of handy. I just did that here. And peak to peak, max peak, min peak, AC threshold. So that being said, I could describe all of those features and set up examples and stuff, but you know what, people are already doing that on YouTube. One of the best sources to find out specifically how to use negative peak, positive peak, threshold, all that stuff, go to Power Probe's website and look at their videos specifically. And it's absolutely an amazing tool. Some of the newer things that they've come up with recently is this little whiz bang right here. So this is a 5-volt adapter. So it only allows 5 volts to leave the tool, because that was one of the critical things I received when was selling these Power Probes, is that, you know, whatever you inject is what you're giving it. I mean, if you have 12 volts on your battery, you can give something 12 volts, or you can give something ground, because that's what I've hooked this thing up to. And the critic was like, well, what if you get close to a control circuit, you know, a CAN bus system, an ECM, PCM, all that stuff, and you do this, you'll kill it. That's what'll happen. You know, it's just like a pistol. If you got bullets in it, you better be careful where you point it. So therefore, this thing that came out protects that. And you know, $28, kind of a nice insurance policy. And so that's something that's new. Also, something I'm going to do in a later video is show you this item right here, which is the Open Short Finder. And this circuit board also can test that. And also, I've got actually a wire loom off of a tractor, so, or a vehicle, so we can test it here. It's nice, clean, quick, easy. But then I also want to demonstrate through that. So that's some things I'm working on. So next time around, we're going to go through the board, and then we'll also go through this loom right here, and super exciting stuff. But as you know, before I leave a video, I like to leave something positive. And let me step over here and grab my quote going on. As I've mentioned before, being an entrepreneur, going into business for yourself, can really be a leap of faith. And there's lots of people that want to, you know, tell you good things or bad things about it. One thing that you probably have noticed as technicians, and when you buy from tool guys, is there can be a lot of turnover. And it doesn't really matter what color the truck is. I've seen turnover on white and yellow trucks, red and white trucks, blue and white trucks, you know. So it's a rodeo, and I don't think, in fact, I know this is not a bad business. This is an incredible business if you get the right mindset for it. And the future is incredible if you get your right mindset for it. So one of my best friends in the whole world finally got into a Cornwell tool truck. When I was with Mac Tools, I was begging him to get into the Mac Tool truck, but you know, due to situations in your life, you need to be ready to make this leap of faith, you know, and he's prepared himself, and you know, he's an entrepreneur by heart. That's why I wanted to get in the business, because you got to be able to kind of ride out the waves, when the things go up and down. But when I got into this business, a lot of my close family members basically shunned me. It was really quite shocking. In fact, the second time around when I got in with Cornwell, it's like I felt abandoned. And of course, I had my lovely, beautiful wife helping me, and she's never left my side, and been married, you know, over 26 years, and life is super good there. So, but I know what skill sets I bring to the table, and therefore I take that confidence with me. But like I said before, I focus on putting good stuff in my head. And I found this quote that I'm going to leave you with by Theodore Roosevelt, okay? And so it says this, it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms and great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end triumph of high achievement, or who at worst, if he fails, at least while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. You got to try. You got to try to fly. And if you fail, you've learned. You've become a better person by doing so. But if you put yourself in a system, and all these tool companies have a system, and if you can be submissive and park your pride when you need to, and do what you got to do, and follow the system, and work, 4 letters of magicness, work, works. When you don't want to do it anyway. You know, take advice from good people. Don't ask them, listen, and go, I don't think so. No, you got to take advice. You got to change the way you think. And we're going to get into a whole lot of that, you know, what goes on in between these ears really makes a big difference in life. But you got to be willing to make those choices. So, you know, anyway, I'm having a lot of fun in this business, and I'm really looking forward to sharing a lot of it about you. So when we come back, we're going to run through the board, show you this stuff. I think the Power Probe is an incredible tool that most people should have in their toolbox. So, hey, thanks.